Oh, hello. I'm Evan from the National Music Center, coming at you today from Studio Bell. I am a Suzuki Kid. Perhaps the design of these circles is triggering some kind of memory. If so, you might be a Suzuki Kid too. What it means is I was trained from an early age on the violin using the Suzuki method. So what is the Suzuki method? Where did it come from? What are you in for if you become a Suzuki student? Did it work? Shinichi Suzuki's original plan was to take over his father's violin factory. But he thought if he was going to run a violin factory, then he should know how to properly make a violin. So he went to study violin making in Germany, which was great, except for one thing: German. He had a real hard time learning the German language. I could not understand what people said, nor could I express my desires in words. And then he noticed something. Suddenly I observed that every German child at the age of 3 or 4 spoke and understood German very easily. This had a great impact on me. When I was in Japan and heard small children speak their mother tongue, I didn't think it was anything special, but considering how difficult it was for an adult to learn a foreign language, a child's potentiality for learning must be very high. After I returned to Japan, I began to apply this idea in teaching violin to children. What if we taught music in a similar way to how we teach language? Perhaps any child could learn. This was quite radical because at the time, people thought that a lot of talent was inherited from your parents. You know, let's teach this kid because he's good stock. But Suzuki saw that children have the capacity to learn no matter what their background. Today, it's hard to believe that people thought any other way. So Suzuki's method of teaching the violin was built around a few big ideas, like starting early, parental involvement, lots of listening and repetition, and group lessons. So what was it like learning the violin with the Suzuki method? Well, it's a bit odd to think about because I did start lessons when I was 4 years old, so it's that foggy time when memory is not very good yet. I have vague memories of learning to hold a violin under my chin using a Cracker Jack box with a ruler taped to it. I remember tape on the neck to show me where to put my fingers. Parents are strongly encouraged to learn alongside their kids. And I do remember my mom having a violin, but I think she gave up pretty quick because more I remember that violin case. But I also had an older brother who did Suzuki violin as well. So by the time I got to learning any of those pieces, I had heard them quite a bit. One memory, which is more of a feeling, is that of dread of practicing. Even though at the beginning it was only 10 or 15 minutes a day, at such a young age it seemed like a lot. And I've never been a fan of drills or strict practicing ever since. The biggest lesson that will stick in every Suzuki kid's mind is the first lesson, which is the Twinkle Variations. By learning the Twinkle Variations, students will gain all sorts of technique to help them learn the violin. They are all built around the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because most students will already recognize this tune. But instead of just straight up teaching you how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you are first taught several different bow motions. These are usually paired with phrases. When I was growing up, the first variation we called Taka Taka Stop Stop. There's also hot nuts and popcorn and down wiggle, up wiggle. Then Mississippi, Mississippi. These are very common bow patterns throughout all of music, so this gives players a very solid foundation with their bow movement. It's also a great first song on the violin. Picking the key of A, the first phrase, you only have to use one finger. When you're young, it's nice that the first phrase is not too demanding. In fact, the whole first book is in this key of A to get you used to moving in this key. Oh, it's all flooding back. So book 1 of the Suzuki method is an educational masterpiece. But is the Suzuki method right for you? Well, it's a big commitment both for the kids and the parents. You have your private lesson, your group lesson. You're supposed to practice every day. There's listening. It's involved, and it's a lot of work. The Suzuki method is criticized because students often have a hard time reading music, with the trade-off that they have an excellent ear. And I will attest that my music reading has never been very strong. Pretty good at tuning, good at memorizing music. Taking Suzuki lessons gave me a lot of confidence as a musician from a very early age. It was almost like I had a superpower. So even though I don't play the violin very often, I really think Shinichi Suzuki taught me to be a lifelong musician. And for that, I thank him. Arigato. But I really want to hear from other Suzuki kids. What was it like? Are you still playing? How far did you get? I kind of fizzled out in book 4 and went on to other things. Suzuki parents, what was your experience? Can you hear the names Lightly Row or Go Tell Aunt Rhody without breaking out into cold sweats? Or if you're not a Suzuki student, what teaching method did you use? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, happy exploring. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and or subscribe. Also, the National Music Center is a charity that relies on donations. So if you have the means and feel like it, please go to studiobell.ca/donate.